हाय गाइस, स्तुती's बुक क्लब में स्वागत है आपका। फीवर 104 एफएम आप देख रहे हैं या सुन रहे हैं। आपको पता है हर हफ्ते हम आते हैं, स्तुती यहाँ पे है। और बुक क्लब में इस बार बड़ा ही स्पेशल है जी। ऑथर तो है जिन्होंने ये किताब लिखी, बट जो इनके विजडम से जिनका बेनिफिट हुआ है, जिन्होंने किताब का फॉरवर्ड भी लिखा है। आई हैव तापसी पन्नू हियर विद मी एंड ऑफ कोर्स द ऑथर, द वुमन हु बर्थड दिस बुक। आई हैव मुनमुन Ganeriwal here. Hi Munmun.
Hi Stutee. Nice to be here.
Yes, of course. Munmun और तापसी, ये हमने मतलब perfect combination बिठाया है, because we know that Taapsee has benefited a lot from the consultations with Munmun, and a lot of that wisdom is here in this book, which I can vouch for is a very very well researched, insightful book. ऐसे ऊपर नहीं लिखा है, काफी आपको ये पन्ने नजर आ रहे हैं, इसमें बहुत विजडम है और गट माइक्रोब से लेके क्या खाना है क्या नहीं खाना है सब पूछेंगे। बट पहले मुनमुन, आई मस्ट लेट यू स्पीक फर्स्ट। टेल मी व्हाट मेड यू राइट दिस। आपका तो सही कंसल्टेशन चल रहा था एंड यू हैव सच अ हाई प्रोफाइल क्लाइंटेल। व्हाई डिड यू वांट टू राइट दिस बुक एंड शेयर दिस विजडम विद देम?
I wanted to write a book since a long time, and इसका मतलब मेन कारण यही था कि आप अपनी जो फिलॉसफी है उसको आप कैसे लोगों तक पहुंचाओ। सो वन एस्पेक्ट वाज डेफिनेटली सोशल मीडिया, जहाँ पे मैं पोस्ट करती हूँ एंड आई डू ऑल दीज social media stuff, but social media has limitations in terms of educating people. In terms of kitna content you will give out on social media. You cannot explain the entire science and technical things on social media, because on social media somehow you also want people to not get bored, give things out in a short duration of time. So there are a lot of these restrictions. A book becomes very easy to give out that kind of education to people. And वो education देना मुझे इसलिए जरूरी लग रहा था क्योंकि जिस तरह के myths मैं दिन भर सुनती थी अपने clients से या बाकी लोगों से, मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि I don't know what we have made out of a diet. हमने nutrition को क्या बना दिया है. And I just felt that this information, at least the correct information, should go out from my end, and then people of course can choose to decide what they want to do with the information.
Absolutely, and that comes across in this book. Coming to Taapsee now, पहले तो मुबारक हो आपको। आजकल आप इतनी दौड़ भाग कर रही हैं, अभी रश्मि रॉकेट से सीधा दौड़ते हुए, you are unstoppable literally and metaphorically. So congratulations on Loop लपेटा पहले।
Thank you so much, Stutee. Thank you for lovely review also.
बहुत ही सही था यार, in the way you carried the film. मतलब मैं ये loop of faith इन्होंने किया है बिल्कुल।
Fully, it was a loop of faith, totally.
Taapsee, the reason we have you here is, we have authors, we have Munmun has such a long years of experience with her in the field. But आप ना in a way एक्सपीरियंस बताइए, आपका रिव्यू हमें चाहिए इसमें, बिकॉज मुझे ने जो सारी चीजें लिखी हैं that you have followed and you've written about it also forward में, तो please tell us a little about it.
See, Munmun came in my life when I was subscribing to things in terms of diet and my workout and all, because मेरे लाइफ में कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होता था कि मुझे किसी डाइटिशियन या ट्रेनर और ये सब की जरूरत पड़ी हो. I've been a person who's been inclined towards staying fit, and I keep trying. Like I'm a lot into sports, as everybody knows now visibly. So I was always like myself doing stuff. But now what wasn't in my hand was my metabolism, which was going from bad to worse. In spite of the amount of work I used to do in the gym or just my daily activity, and I was very worried I'm inheriting it from my mother, क्योंकि मेरी mom का भी बहुत ही खराब metabolism है. तो वो मुझे लगता था कि इतनी भाग दौड़ करने के बाद, इतनी जिम करने के बाद, इतना स्पोर्ट खेलने के बाद भी I feel that कुछ चीजें नहीं डाइजेस्ट हो रही हैं बॉडी के अंदर, and so feel very sick the whole day. And I am a person who loves to eat, who lives to eat. यार मैं दिल्ली से हूँ, तो वो सब धीरे धीरे करके चीजें छोड़नी पड़ रही थी कि ये नहीं खाओ, वो नहीं खाओ अभी, because if I'm not feeling nice the whole day, my mind doesn't work. It used to make me feel like very frustrated mentally, because things were not going well in my stomach. So that's the point when I luckily saw, there's a hamper that Munmun sent over, and I read a little bit about her there, and then I contacted her and we started working together. And from there onwards, her philosophy was very simple. I will not make you leave anything, you know, मतलब वो ऐसा craving business नहीं होगा. तो वो that really excited me because I didn't want someone to tell me कि यार इतना नाप के इतना ग्राम इतना ये ऐसे इतने दिन में ये इतने टोटल मिला के इतना प्रोटीन.
Exactly.
या सो क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा मेरा कोई ऐसा हार्डकोर गोल नहीं था उस टाइम पे कि मुझे इतना मतलब वेट करना है या इतना साइज करना है. मेरा कोई ऐसा, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू बी फिट फ्रॉम इनसाइड and sustainably fit. So I said, you know, now let's work towards it. So she worked on me for close to a year where she worked on the inside कि कैसे ये जो मेटाबॉलिज्म इशू है इसको सॉर्ट आउट हो पहले तो, ताकि कोई भी चीज ऐसी ना हो कि ये नहीं खा सकते, ग्लूटेन नहीं खा सकते, लैक्टोज नहीं खा सकते, which I was avoiding before that. So she worked on my clearing or making the system from inside better. And then by the time I started prepping up for Rashmi Rocket, अंदर का system ठीक हो गया था. So my body stopped, you know, I had huge acidity problems, like really bad ones. Lifestyle I can't control up to an extent. I'm already a person who loves to sleep early. मतलब मैं 10 बजे तक मेरी बत्ती गुल हो जाती है जनरली. सो बट कई बार होता है नाइट शूट्स होती हैं, सो आई कांट कंट्रोल इट. तो ये सब के बावजूद एंड देयर आर एंजाइटी एंड स्ट्रेस लेवल्स इन आवर जॉब, everybody's job for that matter, which we also can't control after a point, right? So ये सब नहीं होने के बावजूद और क्या कर सकती हूँ मैं. So after we worked on that for a year and things became better, I started and she started explaining to me कि क्या क्या चीजें क्या मतलब simple logic. I remember that one thing that Munmun told me very early when I asked her about my metabolism, which I remember till date, is like कि जब when you are younger, like a baby, you feel hungry more often. That means कि तुम्हारा मेटाबॉलिज्म बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, कि तुम्हारे को बार-बार भूख लग रही है और डाइजेस्ट हो रहा है. जब तुम्हारा डाइजेस्ट होना बंद हो जाता है खाना ढंग से, वो अंदर पड़ा रहता है, तो ऑब्वियसली यू डोंट फील हंग्री फ्रॉम इनसाइड. दैट मींस समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, योर मेटाबॉलिज्म इज नॉट वर्किंग फाइन. एंड आई यूज्ड टू हैव 2 meals a day at that time, बट वो टिपिकल था. ब्रेकफास्ट बहुत हैवी करती थी मैं, फिर मेरे को 4-5 बजे भूख लगती थी उसके बाद, और उसके बाद खाना खा के फिर कभी-कभी या तो डिनर पूरा स्किप हो जाता था या फिर कभी-कभी बहुत लेट हो जाएगा. तो वो बहुत ही अजीब साइकिल हो गई थी मेरी. हालांकि आई वाज ईटिंग व्हेनेवर आई फील हंग्री, बट 6-6 घंटे के गैप के बाद आई वाज फीलिंग हंग्री, व्हिच वाज नॉट पॉसिबली अ गुड साइन ऑफ यू नो मेटाबॉलिज्म. सो शी स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन दैट टू मेक श्योर आई फील हंग्री आफ्टर एवरी 2 hours. Now it has come to a point where you know, I feel so hungry that I can eat a human being after every 2 hours if they don't give me something to eat. मतलब अभी तो ऐसा हो गया कि अभी खाना चाहिए तो मत.
Competition, but ठीक है.
So yeah, so that's how I changed totally from like now I don't really have any acidity issues. I have gluten, I have lactose, I eat everything. My today's lunch is chole bhature Munmun. It's my weekly. Yeah, so awesome. I eat everything now.
Munmun is like, what?
No, Munmun has allowed me officially chole bhature.
Yeah,
once a week I can have it.
Yeah, in fact, the book has a recipe of the bhatura. The book itself talks about chole bhature as the Indian sourdough bread, and in the book I've given a traditional sourdough recipe of a bhatura that you can make in the kitchen.
You know,
and I got to know that bhatura is gluten free. Did you know that? It's a gluten free thing, bhatura. Who would have thought?
ये दिल्ली वालों की खुशी कोई नहीं समझ रहा. हम ही खुश हैं, मतलब हमारे भटूरे, I swear. But you know, Munmun, that's the reason I think this becomes such an important read, and आपका success this explains, because everything that Taapsee was saying, और जो अभी देख रहे हो और सुन रहे हो बोलेंगे हाँ यार, मतलब ये जो टॉप की एक्ट्रेस है इनको हो रहा है, हमें भी हो रहा है, because you can't control your food cycle, acidity हो रही है, फिर हम खुद ही छोड़ देते हैं, अच्छा ये नहीं खाएंगे, शायद ये नहीं पच रहा, वो नहीं खाएंगे. And you are a gut microbe specialist, and you're I think the only one in the world जो आयुर्वेदिक और इंडियन फूड को मिला के इस पे आपने काम किया है. So what are the common mistakes that people do? Of course, you know, हर इंसान की body अलग है. You'll have to, you know, treat that individually. But some of the mistakes that I think we all make.
A lot of mistakes actually ना. हम क्या करते हैं कि सबसे पहले हम दिन की शुरुआत गलत करते हैं. या तो हम there's a population of people who are either fasting in the day. Like they are not doing breakfast because intermittent fasting is there and we have to follow it. And then there is another sector of people who think that, you know, breakfast like a king. So वो सारा कुछ breakfast में ही खा जाते हैं. So that itself, you're starting the day wrong, because ना तो आपको fasting करनी चाहिए और ना ही आपको you should be eating breakfast like a king. It should be at the middle path where you are having breakfast, but it should be quite light, something like a porridge, something like a smoothie or a kanji. A light breakfast is what people should be doing. Lunch usually हम skip ही कर देते हैं again, because इतना heavy breakfast खाया है that lunch तक भूख ही नहीं लगती है. And obviously we are always busy in meetings and work or either in the traffic, so lunch goes for a toss, where actually lunch should be the biggest meal of the day. Lunch जो है 11:30-12 के बीच में हो जाना चाहिए, and it should be the most wholesome, most substantial meal of the day. So वहाँ पे हम फिर second गलती करते हैं, और क्योंकि फिर हम lunch अच्छे से नहीं करते हैं तो evening में जाके 4-5 बजे हमें cravings होती है, and then we end up eating some pani puri, bhel or those kind of things. तो अगर हम lunch अच्छा करेंगे तो automatically that 4 PM 5 PM craving goes away. So that is another mistake. So basically the thing is that the entire routine that we follow is quite gone for a toss. रात में हम usually feel करते हैं that oh God, हमने इतना काम किया है that we have earned ourselves a drink, and then we want to settle ourselves with a drink, and then we eat like a buffet dinner, and then we sleep almost आधे एक घंटे के gap में. We don't even keep a good time between our dinner and bedtime, and then we wake up feeling very clogged and heavy. So this entire thing is like a vicious cycle, and we are going wrong there. We are stressing a lot on superfoods, कि कौन सा superfood है, whether it's moringa or whether it's turmeric or जो भी है. अगर कोई Indian foods की बात भी करेगा कि वो Indian foods is very good, then they will still talk about these 4-5 superfoods. But the whole point is that you can have any superfood in the world, but if your basic metabolism is not right, how will your body absorb these superfoods? At the end, your gut is the control center. आप उसमें मोरिंगा दो या आप उसमें दाल चावल दो, ultimately जब तक वो absorb नहीं करेगा, nothing is reaching your cells. So nothing is coming to functional use. And that is where we are lacking again, because we don't consider gut as an important organ at all. We are always worried about our heart. We are always worried about our brain, memory, learning skills. Heart के बारे में we will go for periodic checkups, but we never, really think about our gut, because the gut is actually the prime actor when it comes to your physical health, mental health. So we are going wrong there. We are going wrong in terms of counting calories. Like Taapsee said, what she said right now, but. To be honest, it is still, very, it's so heartwarming to work with her, because from day one, it was somewhere that, our philosophies matched. From day one, she like she said that she was happy that she didn't have to measure things. उनको वो calories measure करके नहीं खाना था, and that is something that really inclined her towards my program. On the contrary, I have lost many clients because when they got to know that I don't tell them to measure, उनको लगा ये पागल है. उनको लगा कि नहीं, actually they thought that I don't know my work. So I do meet such people, even today after 20 years of practice, I do meet people, certain of them from the industry, of course common people as well, who really feel कि अरे ये तो measure करने ही नहीं बोल रही, ये तो बोल ही नहीं रही calories measure करो, ये तो बोल ही नहीं रही इतने grams protein खाओ, इसको काम नहीं आता है, she doesn't know how to work. So that is a lot of misconceptions. That is why I said I wanted to give out the book, so that people know scientifically that all of these things they are actually faulty. Just because we are assigning numbers, हमें लगता है we are very intelligent, because the moment we start giving equations, software apps, numbers to something, people हाँ लगते हैं कि अरे बड़े intelligent लोग हैं यार, बहुत कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, we are doing some high profile work. But honestly, when it comes to human body, none of the numbers work. क्योंकि ये कोई ATM machine तो है नहीं जहाँ पे जो निकालो जैसा डालो आ जाएगा. It doesn't work like that. There are so many things that influence us. Like हम जैसा सोच रहे हैं, that can actually help us absorb the nutrients from the food in a different way, just because our thoughts and emotions are different. So the apps or numbers will not catch up on these kind of facts. And I think with Taapsee, it becomes very easy for me to, talk about these things, because somewhere she understands this philosophy, and somewhere she also believes in a stress-free eating. जहाँ पे ना मतलब उनको बड़ा stress-free जहाँ जो दिखता है, and she finds logic also. ऐसा नहीं है कि she blindly will just follow it. She finds logic. She understands things. And that is where I think our rapport took off very well.
I'm sure. I have a few more questions, particularly Yuktahaar से related to आपसे पूछूंगी. But अभी, since Taapsee is right here, we can talk about her. We're not talking about her behind her back. Tell me, मुझे तो लगता है she's a very determined person. But कौन सी आदत छुड़वाने में आपको ज़्यादा मेहनत लगी? Like that was something that was, probably difficult for her, either because of the work or just that it was just personally very difficult for her to give up.
Actually, honestly, ऐसी कोई आदत इनकी थी नहीं. Like she doesn't drink alcohol. इनको थोड़ा कॉफी का शौक है, but कॉफी भी like when I explained to her, she was happy to make it only 2 cups a day. अभी तो फिलहाल कभी-कभी इनका 1 cup a day से भी हो जाता है. So honestly, ऐसा कुछ इनका I really feel, to be honest, like any person who is successful, like even at a professional level, जो भी हम किसी successful इंसान से मिलते हैं, industrialist हो, actor हो, आप जैसे RJ हो, कितने successful लोग हैं, people who are doing good in their fields, are actually people who have a command over their mind. Because जब तक वो नहीं हो, you cannot be successful in what you're working with. आपके काम में भी आप successful नहीं हो सकते. It is not possible. तो जब लोग जिनके माइंड पे कमांड होता है, उनके लिए ये चीजें फिर they don't look at things in that way कि यार मैं छोड़ सकूंगी क्या. They understand and they tell their mind that I am the boss, so do this this way. So I think with Taapsee it is something like that, because with Rashmi Rocket kind of a movie, you won't believe the kind of determination it was required.
No, she would post those pictures and मैं कहती कहाँ muscle दिख रही है, ये क्या हो रहा है?
नहीं, बहुत ज्यादा डिटर्मिनेशन की जरूरत है. There are at times when I get inspired looking at her, because सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इनका जो स्केड्यूल जिस समय था, ये भी नहीं कि खाली वो रश्मि रॉकेट के लिए तैयारी करी थी, साथ में हसीन दिलरुबा चल रहा है, साथ में लूप लपेटा चल रहा है, एंड सब में कैरेक्टर्स में डिफरेंट डिमांड्स थे.
अभी भी दौड़ना पड़ रहा है, मतलब
हाँ. So I don't think that's a challenge with her. In fact, when I tell her to do something, she's quite adaptable and flexible also. Like she will never say कि no I won't do this. She will say कि अच्छा ठीक है, try करके देखते हैं. So she's very open that way. And with me and her, I feel that there's a lot of straightforwardness in terms of her feedback. So when she tells me कि अच्छा try करके देखते हैं, if she hasn't given me any negative feedback, I can understand that everything is fine. Because कुछ अगर ऐसा होगा, if it's not working with her, I know she'll just tell me in those very simple words, बिना घुमा फिरा के. So that becomes as a consultant, my job becomes very easy because I'm not guessing anything. मुझे पता है अगर कुछ गड़बड़ है तो she'll come and tell me. So yeah.
Taapsee, coming to you now, since you're here and you're following this, और बड़े अच्छे reviews आपको मिल रहे हैं with your determination and stuff. I want you to inspire us, because for a lot of us, diet भी कल से शुरू होता है, gym भी कल ही से शुरू होता है. तो ये
एक दिन ना वो कल आएगा नहीं, एक दिन. And then you'll be like यार काश कल yesterday वाला कल किया होता. So I don't want to that have actually I want to live a life where I am not dependent or not I don't get disappointed or bogged down by my body. मतलब I don't want to age before my time. There are all these things that scare me a little bit in terms of seeing people around me who people of my age who have some extreme body problems, just because they've never really respected or loved their bodies, because that's what your mind is residing in. And अगर body use करने वाला काम नहीं कर रहे, at least mind use करने वाला तो काम कर रहे हो. वो mind affect होने वाला है अगर तुम body को नहीं use करोगे ठीक से. So I realized that वो happiness होती है ना, जो inherent happiness होती है, वो तभी अच्छे से फील होती है अंदर से when your body is actually in good condition. I have seen days where probably when you're sick, everybody must have seen the days you are sick, your body is not really in its good shape, you don't feel well mentally, you're not at your 100% efficiency mentally also. So कितनी देर तक you're gonna drag and abuse your body thinking कि मेरा तो काम ही desk job है यार, मैं बैठ के ही काम करना है, उसमें क्या है, ये तो actors हैं, इनका तो काम है body पे काम करना है. और I've hardly done films in which I need to really show off my body. It's not like I do films where I have to be wear those very tiny clothes. वो मुझे मिलती भी नहीं है, but I still try to stick to staying fit, not because I have to show off. It's because of my mind actually, because I know the difference in me. जब मैं नहीं फिट हूँ तो माइंड कैसे काम कर रहा है वर्सेस जब मैं फिट हूँ. So उसके लिए ना, to make sure you are at your 100% efficiency, so that you don't feel like giving up on your life and your work or whatever you're doing before time. तो वो to live in the present perfectly, कि मतलब कि आज अच्छे से पूरा दिन निकाला है, मतलब not like ये कब खत्म होगा यार, ये क्या ही चले जा रहा है, वो जो it's a boring day, it's a boring people चल रहा है ना, ये इसलिए ही होता है क्योंकि because you probably don't feel the right energy from inside, otherwise you'll do something with your time ना. तो वो सब उस सब के लिए, to make sure you live every moment, every day of your life properly, your body needs to be like in a good condition and to help your mind work. For that sake work, well, not for anyone else, not for show off, not for like because you're not an actor you don't have to do it. For just having a longer, healthier life, so you don't get dependent on people quicker before your time.
Perfect. So you have another career option, Taapsee, as a motivational speaker. It's all for me. मैं कल से पहले से शुरू करना चाहिए था.
Okay. वो होता ना, मैं अपनी फेवरेट हूँ वाले लोग हैं ना, जो मैं अपने आप को बहुत प्यार करती हूँ, मैं अपनी फेवरेट हूँ वाले जो लोग हैं जो इतना पसंद करते हैं इस डायलॉग को, इसको इम्प्लीमेंट भी करना होता है, इसको सिर्फ बोलना नहीं होता है. तो ये इम्प्लीमेंट तभी होगा जब यू विल टेक केयर ऑफ योर सेल्फ फर्स्ट.
ये पंजाबी मम्मी की तरह छुत्तर पढ़ रहे हैं इस वक्त सब लोग. ये भी करना होता है, करो तुम. ओके Munmun, coming to you, we keep hearing, अब जैसे आपने बोला मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन तो है ही अबाउट डाइट्स, एंड हम फैक्ट्स बहुत जल्दी पकड़ लेते हैं. ठीक है, हम सुन रहे हैं अबाउट गट, ओके, डाइट फॉर द ब्रेन, microbes, probiotics, superfood, like you latch on to something and you think अरे सब सही हो जाएगा. Please talk to us about this. Give us some ज्ञान about what probiotics are and how to really improve our gut. What are the first few steps जो हम सब खुद ले सकते हैं, tweaking हमारा lifestyle थोड़ा सा.
See, सबसे पहले तो ये जो हम लैच करते हैं ना, कुछ भी आता है हम उसको पकड़ के बैठ जाते हैं. It's just because we are always looking for a shortcut. हमें हमेशा लगता है कि जैसे वो बोलते हैं ना कि वो गंगा में डुबकी लगा लो और सब पाप धुल जाएगा. So we are looking for that गंगा स्नान everywhere, कि कहाँ हम एक डुबकी ले ले और जितना हमारा किया धरा है सब ठीक हो जाए and we are become, हम वो स्नान करके निकले and will be like super fit. So firstly we need to understand that it's an ongoing process. कुछ भी ऐसा डाइट नहीं हो सकता इस दुनिया में जो आपको बोलेगा कि आप 10 days में, 15 days में या even 10 weeks में आप पूरे ये हो जाओगे. My book talks about a 10-week diet, but having said that, in the first page itself I say that this is a 10-week diet, but in the end of the day I want you to follow this for a lifetime. So there is complete lifetime guidelines given in a complete chapter to drive home the point that a diet has to be done for life. So ये जो gut के लिए भी आपने बताया, gut microbes के लिए, like you asked me the question, what can we do? Again, it is something that you have to work towards it for a lifetime. It's not something कि आप 10 दिन करेंगे और gut microbes
और फिर छोड़ दो.
और फिर छोड़ दो. So small things like when we talk about exercise has an impact on the gut microbes. The way we sleep has an impact on gut microbes. Our state of mind, stress can bring about dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is basically life in distress, and it's basically when your gut microbiome is in complete imbalance, giving you a lot of symptoms like weight gain, acne, depression, sinusitis, autoimmune. Lot of conditions are connected with dysbiosis. So stress is also seen as a major factor for dysbiosis. So a lot of things that people can do. Firstly, for stress, we need to understand that we need to have recovery mechanisms inbuilt in our life. Right. Different people can have different recovery mechanisms. Of course, going out for a drink doesn't count as a recovery mechanism. Watching a movie, fine, it can give you a downtime, but you cannot call it a recovery mechanism. In fact, 99% of my clients go to a holiday to recover, and then they come back from a holiday wanting to have a holiday just to recover from that holiday. So I don't know what kind of holiday they went to. So we think upon things as recovery, but actually these are stressful things that we do even as part of recovery. And there, I feel yoga has a very important role to play because the kind of skills that yoga has taught us, which we have never valued. Even today, when we value yoga, we only value yoga in terms of asanas. Because we see beautiful girls and boys with beautiful pictures on Instagram, and we feel that is what yoga, they twisting their body into difficult postures. But the other part of yoga, where there was a lot of skills and activities taught to recover from the stresses of the mind, that has completely been wiped off. Very, very few people are there who are still teaching that, or very few people have that knowledge. So that is one aspect of deep breathing techniques, which is pranayam, which can do a lot of mental recovery. There are mechanisms like Yog Nidra, which I have spoken about in the book. So this is something that even a child can do. I have even shared a YouTube link in the book for Yog Nidra. So all you need to do is just log into that link and listen to the instructions, which is a audio YouTube, and you are there. So that kind of stuff is something that we have to make it a habit. हमने हेल्थ को क्या कर दिया, डाइट और एक्सरसाइज के बीच में घुमा दिया है. Either it's only about doing rigorous workouts and creating a six-pack abs, or it is about superfoods or fasting and this and that kind of diet. But we never have enough stress upon sleep, recovery, mental recovery, and those kind of things. So these kind of things I think needs to be prioritized because of the kind of mental health issues we are seeing scaling up in India and globally. So that is one point, that sleep has to be prioritized. What kind of sleep, again, is not about the number of hours of sleep, but it is about deep sleep. So eat a dinner, again I'll say, like in the steps I will say that eat a dinner which is 2 to 3 hours away from your bedtime. Very important. Again, in the dinner, please eat carbs. As I said, there are people who really dismiss me because they think that I don't know what I'm talking, because half of the population of like people from my industry, they say ki no carbs for dinner. And honestly, even like all my clients, even Taapsee, she would have a khichdi for dinner. She would eat rice for dinner. So there is no moment, even when we were prepping for Rashmi Rocket, there was no moment where she went carb free for dinner or for any meal for that matter. So please don't hate carbs is what I'll say. Eat carbs for dinner, but then choose the right carbs. I'm not asking you to have some refined carbs like
white bread or something.
So choose the right carbs. You can have roti, millets, bhakri, rice, barley, all of these are great. But have carbs for dinner, because until and unless they have carbs for dinner, they'll not be able to sleep well. ये हम हमेशा देखते हैं कि अगर हमने सिर्फ जैसे वो ग्रिल्ड फिश खा के हम सो गए, and then what happens is that वो ग्रिल्ड खा के हम सो गए हैं, but we are not able to sleep. And then again वो sleep नहीं होती है, तो again it affects your health. That is number one. And number two, because the sleep has not happened, you somehow don't feel active enough, or you don't even wake up for the workout in the morning. And then we feel कि नहीं हमसे नहीं हो रहा है यार, it requires a lot of discipline, willpower, and ये हमसे नहीं हो रहा है. But the basic thing is not there. आप अच्छे से डिनर करो, अच्छे से सोओगे तो अच्छे से उठोगे, एनर्जी रहेगी वर्कआउट के लिए. So it's quite simple if you see, but we have time and again complicated diet, and unfortunately the more complicated you sound as a nutritionist, the better people believe you are. So that is even the irony of today's world.
Super. Okay, finally coming back to this, like Munmun said कि complicated चीजें भी ज़्यादा पसंद आती, but diet को हमें प्यार से समझा दे तो ही फायदे में है. Taapsee, first you, and then final words to Munmun. Why you think people should pick this up? One USP of Yuktahaar as per you.
I'll say if you love to eat and still want to diet, then you should pick this book up.
Right, perfect. I think that's a perfect pitch. Munmun.
Yeah. I will say that anybody who wants to simplify their life, I will say life, I will not even say diet, because if you really follow Yuktahaar, you will see that you have really simplified your life itself. This book, I believe, talks a lot about the connection between physical health and mental health. And when you feel that you are able to, at least to a certain extent, control your thoughts, emotions, control the way mind works, your entire life gets sorted. It's just not the diet which is getting sorted. So I will say that if you just want to simplify your life and you don't want to run behind international foods, or you don't want to get confused about every new thing that will keep coming, we cannot stop that. There will be a new fad diet coming every now and then. So if you just want to rest all your confusions and just want to clarify and get clear on how you should be eating, living your life, and just stay immune to from all these kind of shosha that will keep on happening, throughout the life that we are going to live. So if you just want to protect yourself from all that and stay unaffected and feel great from within, you should buy this book. In fact, during one of the interviews, I said, I was asked that who's the target audience, like who can read this? And I said that anybody who has a pulse and knows how to read should read this book.
Perfectly put. Thank you so much. So Yuktahaar, The Belly and Brain Diet, you can pick it up, order it online. It's been published by Penguin. Thank you so much, Munmun, for writing this, and thank you, Taapsee. You've of course followed it. कहते हैं ना, walking the talk, running the talk कर रहे हो फिलहाल तो. But really, thank you for this conversation.